We're going to go over investing in real estate using the BRRRR method. This is going to be a series, and we're going to go through step by step so you can put the power of BRRRR in your hands. BRRRR is where you create cash flow and net worth really out of thin air if you do it correctly. We've been doing this for over 15 years, way before they even called it BRRRR. So we've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions like this. I want to go through the fundamentals, video by video, so you understand it, so when you get in it, you're successful. Not like some of the people who get into it, buy their first property, end up failing because they haven't taken the steps to understand it. So we're going to go over the first one is why BRRRR. Why BRRRR? How do you create cash flow and net worth out of thin air? What we're going to start with is the difference between BRRRR and buying retail. Just so you see the concepts and what people face when they get into real estate investing. They have two choices. They could pay the market price for a property, or they could buy something under market. First of all, let's look at what people do when they buy something for retail, how it does not create actual more net worth, or how BRRRR actually increases the cash flow. So let's look at a simple transaction on a retail purchase. Let's say someone is buying a property that is worth $400,000. So they're buying a property that's worth $400,000. If you purchase a property in retail with a conventional loan, you're going to have to put down 20%. So what they do is they transfer wealth. They actually take it out of their savings, out of their retirement, wherever that is, and they just transfer it from their savings account over to a rental property. Because the loan that the lender is going to allow them to have is maxed out at 80% if you have great credit. So they're going to have a loan for $320,000, and they have created no wealth from the purchase when they close this transaction, because all they've done is take a $400,000 property, received a loan for $320,000 from a lender, and transferred $80,000 from their savings into a property. All they have done is created a rental property that may create wealth in the future, but it does not create wealth when they purchase it, and it also requires money up front. So they have to pay the $80,000 plus the closing costs. And if they want to repeat this, they're going to have to do this again. You have to have money to buy properties retail when you're looking at the investment world. We're going to look at BRRRR because this is where, with no money, buying the right properties, you could actually get into real estate investing and create wealth and create cash flow. Let's look at an example of a BRRRR transaction, then let's compare the difference between the retail and the BRRRR. So we looked at retail, now let's look at BRRRR. This is where you actually, as a real estate investor, don't need really any cash if you find the right property. Remember, BRRRR is all about buying under market properties. Things that are unloved, unwanted, especially in this market going into 2023, we're going to find some great deals. We already start seeing them just like it was back in 2010 and 11. But let's look at a BRRRR and how we create that cash flow and net worth. We're going to look at a simple example. Yes, there's some nuances, but you need to know the basics before we get into some of the nuances. Let's just look at a purchase of a property that once again has a value of $400K. Just like our retail property, but we're going to purchase it for $250K. Then we're going to have to update it. We're going to have to rehab it. There's some closing costs and stuff like that. We're going to put 50 grand into it. And yes, this is realistic. We've done many of these actually where this is like 75% of the transaction we're looking at. We've done many where they're at 65 or below. You're just transferring money for work. The more you work, the more you find these properties, this is where you're going to create the wealth. All in now, we're at $300,000. We'll go over in another video exactly how to make sure you finance all of this using leverage, making sure you master the money so you don't have to have anything into this. But today we're just going through the concept of understanding BRRRR creating wealth and cash flow. In this case, we have an all-in. We purchased it, we rehabbed it, and we're all in for 300 grand, and it's worth 400,000. So what we've done is now created $100,000 in net worth because all we will owe is $300,000, or that's what we have into the property, even if you don't have a loan, and it's worth $400,000. We've created net worth of $100,000. Doing this right, you don't have anything out of pocket either. Okay, let's look at the numbers now. Let's compare the two and see why BRRRR is so powerful, how it creates the generational wealth out of thin air compared to the retail model. And it also requires little to no money out of your pocket. All it requires is you putting in the time, the effort, understanding the full method before you jump in, and then spending the time looking for the properties. Let's look at the difference here. The difference between BRRRR and retail. If you're buying a property with BRRRR or retail, remember we're talking about the same value on the property. It's in, let's just say for our example, it's a property in the same neighborhood, same block. Remember now, on BRRRR, all we had into the property, and we're going to use 100% leverage, 100% of other people's money, we're going to owe $300,000. Over here, we did an 80% loan to value. We have $320,000 that's owed. So on retail, we're actually going to have less cash flow because we owe more money. We have the same loan terms in our example. Here we have a $20,000 more than here. So cash flow for us is greater on the BRRRR because we just owe less. Now cash transfer. Remember in BRRRR, we're doing this with zero money out of your pocket, and that's why more people could do it. That's why it's open to more investors out there. Where over here, remember we transferred $80,000 out of your account, out of your investments, whatever it may be. This is two things. Number one, you have to have the cash to get into it. And number two, since BRRRR, the last word is repeat, to repeat this, you're going to have $80,000 again for your next property and your next property and your next property. Doing BRRRR correctly, you're going to have zero out of pocket so you can repeat, repeat, and repeat. Your payments, of course, as we said, are going to be lower using the BRRRR method because our loan amount is less. It may be only $25 or $50 a month less, but it's still less, so it's going to increase our cash flow. But the really nice thing here is we've created wealth. We've created the difference between what the value of the property is and what is owed on that. So we have created $100,000 in net worth by using the BRRRR method versus retail. Retail, all we've done is transfer money from our account to a property, so we've created nothing here. In BRRRR, better cash flow, and we've created it out of nothing, and we've created wealth. Just think if you did that 5x, 10x times, what you can do, creating cash flow out of thin air, creating net worth, becoming an instant millionaire by doing 10 properties over the next 1 to 3 years. This can be done. We remember in 2010, we helped 3 different families buy 10 properties in 1 year, all using this method where they put nothing into the properties just because that was the time to buy, and it's going to be that time to buy again in 2023. Now, if BRRRR is new to you, it's probably best you go through and watch this video a few times. And we're going to go through a few more steps through the next videos, like what is BRRRR? How do you actually use and why do you use 2 loans? What's the importance of that? How is that really a key function to this? So stay tuned to some of our other videos. We have a lot of great videos on other investing here on our channel. If you have a question about a loan or you just want us to run through a scenario with BRRRR, reach out to us. We'll have our email below. And as we always say, happy investing.